Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are in the Vanguard. Wait, what? What is this blasphemy? Spartan is in a battleship, but it's a British battleship. It's not the Hood or the Monarch. What is going on? It's been a long time since we've been in a Vanguard, so I figured we'd jump in and have a little bit of fun. And a little fun we had. I'll be honest. We are going to be on two brothers on the left side. We're going to be in the open side. And I'm going to use the Vanguard kind of like I do my Baltimore on this map. I'm not going to sit here and play shooty over the island, okay? That never works in my favor on this map. It just seems like I wait there too long, I get set on fire by people I can't see, and then I get torpedoed inevitably by something that should be spotted, but none of my teammates want to move out and spot. So, with all of that in mind, I am going to take a moment to go completely broadside to the enemy and just beg for a paddling. And we get a good hit right off the bat, almost 9,000 damage on the Kutuzov. Speaking of which, you know, getting burned to a crisp. With him in the map, I don't want to sit here. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just have to put yourself in a position to crossfire the enemy, because you can't count on your teammates to do it. There we get set on fire for a second time, but we're in a British battleship. Even two fires ain't that big a deal. So we're just going to let it burn for now. And at least until either we get set on fire a third time, or we get to a point where it's no longer like a problem and we can put it out without getting set on fire immediately thereafter. Now we take a couple hits here, we go ahead pop our first heal. We only get 3 heals, unfortunately. We are using the Andrew Cunningham build, so we don't get the extra heals. But we do get the accuracy that comes with the Andrew Cunningham build. And you can see we're down to about 20 seconds left on the fires. One of them actually just went out, so we don't have to burn our damage con, which is preferable. Now, some might argue that maybe I should have burned my damage con at some point during that, but with 5 seconds left that we set on fire, we don't need to worry about it, and out goes the fire. But look at the health. I can heal all that back. It's not that big a deal as we get set on fire immediately again. This time we are going to extinguish it because we're not firing our guns, we're not detected, we're unlikely to be immediately set back on fire. Now all I'm doing initially is getting space between me and the Kutuzov. I don't want to be detected. Now that I'm not detected, I'm going to go back to sailing broadside and start my turn towards the enemy. And the reason I did that rather than just showing my flat broadside to everybody is because I wanted to live. There are several battleships down there that, if I am broadside, can and will absolutely rip me apart. Speaking of which, we have a Tirpitz and an Iowa. So we don't want to put ourselves in that position. Now that we're not detected, we can turn in and safely get in behind these islands and start our charge. It's all about positioning on this map. You don't know what your team is going to do, but if you look at the map at what my team is doing, we have a scout destroyer who's sitting next to the island, which is, you know, fine-ish. He's got a couple cruisers out here that he's got to worry about. He doesn't want to get himself detected. And he has spotting, so you can't argue with him. The other guys are all kind of hiding behind the islands doing the expected battle on this map. And the right side of the map should be okay. There are 2 destroyers on the enemy team that are over there, which is unfortunate, so our battleships are probably in trouble. One of our battleships pushed all the way to their spawn. You don't want to do that immediately on this map, and I'll explain. When you push, this map is a camp fest, most likely. Almost every time that you're on this map, you're going to run into nothing but campers. And here, now that we have an island between me and the bad guys, I'm about to fire my guns, and notice we don't even get detected. It's funny how that works, right? Nobody's inside my detection ring. Which means that Baltimore is now going to start having a bad day. He thought he could stay behind that island, and now he's starting to be touched. But back to my point on this map. This map tends to be a camp fest, and if you rush one side super fast, what you end up happen is everybody can focus you. Now this is where Flambass takes advantage of this map. Now again, Flambass is a special player, okay? Not everybody is Flambass. and we get a nice chunk off of the Baltimore again. When he goes up to the middle, all he does is he pushes far enough to get the enemy's attention. Okay, and what that does is that gets everybody to start moving in to try to counter him, thinking that he's just going to sail out into the open. He's not stupid. He sails up far enough, gets their attention, and then turtles himself in that gap and allows most of their team to focus him. And when you do that, what happens is the rest of your team on the outside edges can push, because now they're not, they've got the numbers advantage because everybody's focused at the center of the map. And so that is why what Flambast does is so awesome, but at the same time doesn't work for everybody, because not everybody can play well enough to keep themselves alive long enough to get everybody's attention focused on them to help their team. And what ends up happening is you end up having a lot of people that focus you, but you die either too quick or you just can't get there in time or whatever. You take yourself out of the fight for so long that you can actually end up allowing your team to get crushed on the outside. But when Flambast does it, it generally works out because he's a good player and he knows what he's doing. He's done it many and many times. And you can see we're starting to get some shots. Now, we are definitely detected. We have a cruiser in front of us, and this guy, there's nothing I can do here. I am a battleship, man. You gotta think about that before you just cut over in front of a battleship. But this Tirpitz, I don't know what his plan was, but he was wrong. Let's just put it that way. He's never going to make anything happen out of this, and as he's being put on fire, we get a pretty good salvo onto him, and he is dead long before he actually gets anywhere near torp range of anybody. So if that was his plan, he failed. And now this Baltimore is about to have a very, very bad day as we push around the corner. Now, our team's doing pretty well on this side. However, if you look at the other side, there is a cruiser and a battleship, and that's all that's left. And this is where I get a little bit, tunnel vision. And that Baltimore is the luckiest man who has ever sailed a Baltimore in his life. Broadside to a British battleship should mean death in a cruiser, period, let alone a heavy cruiser. Like, that's not overpins. That is citadels usually. Maybe it was my bad aim. Maybe he just got lucky. But either way, he needs to go play the lottery. Because the fact that we didn't citadel him into oblivion when he was parked broadside on in front of us right there is pretty ridiculous. And he's getting some decent damage on us, but notice it's not scary. Kutuzov is the bigger threat because of the fire chance that he has. So we're going to try to take him out here. He's got a nice broadside presenting, if we can hit the shot. Wait for it. Really? Darn it! I thought we were going to get him. But, alas, we didn't. Now, notice that the right side has completely fallen. And remember what I said about we get tunnel vision. And that is not just me. Everybody that's over here gets tunnel vision. We start shooting the Baltimore. We start shooting at the Kutuzov. We're trying to get rid of everybody. We destroy one of the guns of the Baltimore. And we're about to be broadside onto an Iowa, which is definitely not what you call preferable. But he's not even looking at us. So I'm not sure what the Iowa's doing. So he's not the threat at the moment. We want to finish off this Baltimore. And is he going to survive? Nope, Baltimore's down, so that means we get it. Ah, the Kutuzov's out of reach. Unfortunate. Now, right here, I believe I noticed that the base is in trouble. And I get in chat, and I'm talking to teammates, and I say, hey, we need somebody to go directly back to base because they are going to start capping the base. And I also believe that one of our friends, Kim, is on the enemy team. She's in a destroyer. And she is headed for our base. Now, this Iowa is in a world of hurt. He's getting torped, he's getting crossfired, he's got me to worry about, he's got fire cruisers, he's got destroyers, he's got another battleship. Everybody is shooting this guy because the Kutuzov is out of range of most of us. So, all eyes are on the Iowa. He fires at me, can't really blame him, I'm giving a pretty good shot. And we get pretty lucky, he doesn't really do any damage to us. And we're trying to switch to high explosive here. I run aground because I'm a doober. And we switch to high explosive to try to set fires because the British battleships have a fantastic chance to set fires. So we get a fire, and while it's burning, we're going to try to set one more fire before switching back to AP because he had already burned his damage con, I believe. So any fires that we set now are going to continue to burn. Now, notice they're not even in our base yet, okay? So all of this that we're doing isn't necessarily wrong. We do get a second fire set, and that guy's pretty much doomed at this point. He's got two fires burning. He's still under fire from everybody's armor piercing, and he's not likely to survive much longer. It's just, there's only so much you can do when you're under this many shots. Like, this many people shooting at you, you're gonna die. And you've got both armor piercing and high explosive coming at you, so you're not long for the world. And as you can see, I was just about to die, and of course the Edinburgh has to take the kill, unfortunately. But right here, I know for a fact, I say, hey, somebody needs to go back to the base right here in this moment, and sure enough, they start capping. Now, this is one part where I have to disagree with what our destroyer done. Our destroyer goes into their base, and while it necessarily isn't a terrible move, what he should have been doing is going straight through their base and back through the center to go towards the enemy, because we have the ship advantage. The only way they can beat us right now is to cap our base. We have a cruiser headed straight back to the base, and notice our destroyer is not really going anywhere. He's kind of just sitting in the cap. Now, we all put our eggs in the basket of that cruiser is close enough to get to our base and stop it from being capped. He's close enough. He's already en route. It's an Edinburgh. There is no way that he cannot make it back to the base in time. So all of us are just kind of putting ourselves in the position to do the best we can to help. I'm kind of putting myself in position to help with the Edinburgh when he spots the destroyers. All he has to do here is sail straight into the cap. What will that do? As soon as he gets into the cap, the entire, the game is ours, because he'll stop them from capping, and then he just has to keep it that way long enough for me to help him. Okay? What he does here is he starts fishtailing around in the water for no reason, even though he's probably spotted right now. He's got hydroacoustics, so there's no reason he can't use that to detect the torpedoes. We haven't had a torpedo threat this entire time, so there's no reason he would have used his torpedo or his hydroacoustic until he gets to this position, unless he just screws it up. But then he does the unthinkable. He's at the base. All he has to do is go into the base. Just go into the base. That's all you gotta do. And he turns completely broadside to launch torpedoes into a smokescreen instead of just going into the cap and stopping the cap. Why? Why would you do that? So, in the time it took him to turn broadside, launch torpedoes, the game ends. Unfortunate. We lose thanks to the potato. You gotta love it. It's what we get for relying on teammates. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you got a chuckle out of the ending. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.